Okay, it's been 2 weeks since my last video, and I don't want to just do an update video this time. I wanted to talk about something uh, that I did 2 weeks ago, sort of in my free time, and that's focused on debate a little bit and just learning how to argue better. Because I think debate's a whole, it's just an art form in itself. I think arguing is, and I don't think too many people appreciate it for that. I think a lot of people think that if they have the right ideas, they're going to they're going to succeed, and I 100% disagree. I think you could be right 100% of the time and lose arguments 100% of the time because you don't know how to argue, and you'll just come out looking like an idiot basically. And I guess unless the other person's like such a jerk or so obnoxious, then other people will assume you won just because they like you better. But that's that's to an extent, that's part of debate in its own right, depending on who your audience is. And I guess, the thing I focused on was sort of knowing my own positions. And so basically, a few weeks back, I was arguing. I wasn't arguing. There was someone in real life who brought up something to me, something that happened in the news, and they were sort of like, okay, doesn't this? They didn't say it, but I felt like it was sort of bait to basically say, okay, this person was saying, okay, I know how you feel about this position, and this thing just happened in the news that disproves your position, and that's sort of what they were saying, or how I took it. And I felt like it was bait, but I just didn't say anything. I sort of nodded because I knew I I know they're wrong and I know I'm right on this, but I don't know how to articulate it. And if I argue right now, I'm going to look like an idiot. So I kind of like I love whiteboards. I took it like these I got these little ones that are like the size of a clipboard, and I laid them all out, and I'll use these as I write down different things. And I would write down basically I wrote down this person's argument, and I sort of wrote down the reasons I think, uh, sort of like how they like basically I wrote down what they said, and then the reasons they I think basically in their mind what was okay, this disproves Andrew's point because of this. And I sort of then wrote down, just brainstormed all my, what would be my knee jerk responses, and then kind of like thought those through. And what I found is I basically held to my position, but I came out of it with a better understanding of why I believe that, like what is the philosophy behind that. And there were a few things, I don't want to say I changed my position on, but I sort of had to modify. Like I guess I sort of realized there are some things I just believe because there are some things I would just say in a knee jerk response. Like it's the thing that comes to my head that isn't really reflective of my true values. But it wasn't like I exactly changed how I think at the core or really my values. And then a situation came up where I kind of had a discussion with this person about one of my sort of a related issue, and I didn't go too deep because I still didn't feel like really equipped to argue well, but I feel like I was able to hold up way better than I could have otherwise because I'd kind of thought through what I believed more. And this is something like I sat down and formally did this one day, but I would do it in the past here and there, and I feel like it's helped with internet arguments a lot more. There's been some mistakes I've made where I kind of know why I believe and what I believe it, but I make certain assumptions about, okay, this guy is a really far right wing guy, and that's what he's arguing. So I sort of articulate my arguments that way, and it turns out, even though that's what this guy was arguing with was saying on the surface, he's actually like a crazy left winger. and it's sort of like derailed my line of arguments because I made a bad assumption about him. And I think that's sort of the, know your enemy kind of thing. Like I'm trying to figure out know myself and what I believe, and that's a whole other area, is like know your enemies. And another thing I thought of before I wrap this up, that okay, I think there's one of the things that I realized really quickly writing this down is, if I'm to do this for every single position I hold, like I'm going to be spending all my time doing this, and I'm probably just not going to, like I'm never gonna be able to write down my positions on everything. Even if I do, like I'm gonna, like, new arguments are gonna be had. And really, what I found is it's probably better to first just get down your value system and sort of the fundamentals of why you think what you think. Like, so this isn't exactly related to debating, but I've been reading this book, The Life-Changing Science of Detecting Bullshit. It's a great book in its own right. But there was something they brought up where it was sort of like arguing about how I'm trying to think of the exact sentence. Basically, how would you argue that more car crashes are caused when people are looking at their phones while driving? And just thinking of that specific case, I think if you were to find statistics on specifically, okay, well, they showed in this one study that car crashes are, caused because people were looking at their phones. It's like you could do that, but I think like a better, if you just like found data on how people can't really multitask, and if your attention is directed at something else, then you're not going to be as focused. And like if you were to find good data on that, I think that'd be better, because that's just going to cover you in a broader area of, like, that can apply to a whole bunch of other things. Whereas if you're like, the statistics about the car crash is like that one specific area. And that's now I think if you were going into debate where you were specifically debating the car thing, you would probably want to look up all those statistics, but just like I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm just kind of interested in having broadly speaking. And I kind of think if you're talking broadly and you can throw out some good common sense arguments, if people are going to get all nitty gritty, like some people online, some debaters will get all nitty gritty about, well, this study and this statistic, it's like you kind of just turn and walk away. And unless your audience are fucking idiots, they can hopefully see that just let common sense dictate who's right in this case. I know some people like to argue with even like the dumbest, like I don't know, like autistic, like crazy, like weirdos online. But I think there's some people that you sort of just, it's like, okay, why this person will be arguing for their position sort of speaks for itself. And most people aren't going to listen to them anyways. But yeah, it's really interesting. I think the best thing about it is just learning more about yourself, and you sort of learn why you believe what you believe. And I don't think a lot of people reflect very much, and I know it's something I didn't do for the longest time, and I'm trying to do it more. And it's helped me hugely in YouTube, in programming, is just kind of sitting back sometimes and reflecting on, what I did and did I do it the best way. And I think if just I can apply that to just generally the way I think and my value system, that's going to help me not only in debating but also in life in general. And that's sort of like the gist of the debate discussion of this video. One more thing I guess I wanted to talk about is so that's something I'm doing sort of on my day off, where it's like I have one day off, and basically I kind of have to force myself to do something that's not related to work or programming, because I could just get caught up in doing that. And I think that's so important to just take that time to relax, watch a movie, talk to people, go to the library, go outside. And for me, like, learning about debate, it's just so healthy to pull away a little bit for one day. And yeah, I didn't get to doing anything with this this YouTube channel, like as far as uploading anything, because I was moving out, and as you can see, I'm sitting in a very empty bedroom right now. This is I've just got my computer on the floor. So me and my brother moved into an apartment. Most of my stuff is there, but I'm keeping a few things here because I'm going to be here a few days, basically to babysit a dog me and my sister share. And so basically on some of my sister works 4 days. So on for 3 of these days, Monday for Wednesday, the dog isn't alone and in the crate the whole day. And I'll come and babysit her, then I could still do my work here because I have my one computer here. And I have another one at the apartment, and that's why there's an echo in here. My room is basically empty, and it's really cool because it's a big room, so it's just a lot of open space. I can play with the dog in here. I can walk around and stretch my legs, and yeah, I moved out. I'm gonna see how that goes, and I know I have a good work ethic. I'm hoping that'll be even better when I'm out at the apartment and I don't have all these distractions around me. And also when I have the pressure of, if I don't succeed, it's going to be coming back here basically. So I hope it just pressures me to work harder. And there's so much I could talk about in that realm because I haven't done a video in 2 weeks, and there's just so much going on. But I'm going to wrap this video up.